There was a question in the movie which I feel that hasn't been answered.
Let me say one thing. I'm amazed that none of you guys speak Hungarian. You know, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can speak both
please,
languages,
it's okay.
whichever you prefer. Nick's character asks in sort of 1/3 into the movie, "What do you want from me?" And asks Catherine. And I just feel that this question hasn't really been answered, and I wonder whether you have an answer. What did she want from him, really?
Believe me, it's not something that I spend hours thinking about.
Well, I'll give you 2 minutes.
It'll be shorter than that. I think she liked playing with him on a very sort of dark level. You know, there was this constant byplay between the two of them. She liked playing with him. He liked playing with her. And they enjoyed this little diabolical game that they had going. I'm not sure that the question was as literal, you know, as it sounded like on the screen. But that's as close as I can come to.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Actually, we have received a few questions before from the audience, so I will ask one of them. What was the influence of the Femme Fatale character played by Sharon Stone on the female society back in 1992?
It's an interesting question. You know, most of the feminist critics disliked the movie and said that it was misogynistic and sexist and all of those things that people like to call my movies. Camille Paglia, who is a post-feminist critic and a very respected one, said that Catherine Trammell was the classic post-feminist movie hero, and she's written essays about this and all of that. I would like to think that's the case. The misogyny, you know, that's referred to as Nick Curran was certainly misogynist, and I think that's one of the reasons, to get back to you, why she liked playing with him. She saw that instantly. And then this conflicting dynamic began playing out between them. Thankfully, I really don't read critics for obvious reasons. The criticism that the movie got a lot, of course, was that it was, and there were protests in San Francisco, was that it was homophobic because Catherine was bisexual, and the group Queer Nation, and I respect the group very much in San Francisco, launched a protest. But interestingly, the protest fizzled after a day because once the public saw the movie, the public concluded that that's craziness. That you know, my point exactly was that Catherine was both homosexual and straight in terms of her choices. So in a sense, she was omnisexual, and that certainly I meant nothing to insult the homosexual part of her personality. And I think that ultimately won, and the public accepted the movie and had a lot of fun with it. Also, you know, the movie was ultimately, I think you can agree with this, it was fun entertainment. It was entertainment. It didn't mean to take on politically loaded subjects or politically loaded things. And I think the public realized exactly what this movie was.
Esetleg a másik teremben kérdés? Küldjétek át papíron. Until then, we have another question that has been sent in from the audience. Basic Instinct is like a modern-day film noir. So, were you a fan of the film noir genre prior Basic Instinct? And what are your favorites?
I was a fan, yes. I'd read a lot of film noir, of literary noir. And I'd never written one before Basic. And the story, I didn't consciously set out to write a piece that was film noir. The story, as I saw it, naturally led me there. But when I started writing it, I didn't even know that it would wind up being film noir. I didn't outline this one. Sometimes I outline my scripts, and sometimes I don't. And sometimes they take a long amount of time. Here I didn't outline it. I just sort of improvised it day to day. But that's only because of what I told you about before, because I spent so much time thinking about it through the years. And I sort of trusted that process, that it would work out. Now, the truth is that I've also got like 6 or 7 pieces in my drawers that I never finished because it didn't work out. And either I took a wrong step and took it in a direction that it shouldn't have gone in and couldn't recover, or the daily process of improvisation, it just didn't work, so.
A filmben látható, hogy a Jack Daniels egy nagyon jól elhelyezett product placement-tel van köré fonva, így a dolgoknak, illetve a Pepsi Colát is halljuk, hogy ez mennyire volt direkt elhelyezve, illetve hogy szereti ön esetleg a viszkit, tehát hogy ez szándékosan lett belerakva, vagy esetleg külön ment bele, illetve mennyire igaz az, hogy a Jack Daniels esetleg nem fizetett egy fillért se ezért a product placementért, hanem maga a márkanév miatt került bele a filmbe.
As far as I know, it's a good question, it's a serious question, because a lot of that is going on. But as far as I know, in terms of the product placement, it wasn't in the script, and I don't know whether it was actually done. Was it done at all, Andy, in terms of Basic?
Yeah, I think there were some product placement issues, and since it didn't matter what was the whiskey that he was drinking,
Right.
I think they came up with some funds that helped us make the movie. Pepsi Cola certainly did, or at least provided drinks for the crew or something. I know a funny story on Basic Instinct 2 is that we made a deal with Chopard to put up $1 million plus all the jewelry for the show. Actually, we made the deal with Digger Zonyo, who is Chopard's husband. And she got so pissed off that she offered us more money and wanted the deal, and offered Sharon this beautiful necklace, to wear in the movie, which of course she kept.
Of course.
And but yes, there is product placement always. Whenever we certainly don't want it to stick out. It needs to be somehow hidden in the story that it isn't an important advertisement.
I'll tell you a funny story myself to back that up on the movie and Alan Smithy film, Burn Hollywood Burn. Bulgari came and said that they would provide $50,000 to the movie's budget if once in the movie we used the 2 words, Bulgari, Bulgari. That's it. They didn't say how in any way, right? But you had to say Bulgari, Bulgari. So these are the reasons why producers aren't happy with me sometimes. So I came up with this notion, this guy's in the bathroom, right? And he's standing by the urinal and he's doing what he does. And suddenly he goes, Bulgari, Bulgari, right? In midstream, he goes, Bulgari, Bulgari. And then so it was there, we got the money, right? I'm not sure they were happy, but we got the money.
Pissed off, those guys directly.
Very pissed off, exactly.
Köszönöm, magyarul fogok kérdezni, ha kell, akkor befordítjuk angolra. Mi volt az első kép, ami megvolt a fejedben, amikor elkezdted írni a könyvet, vagy akár több, és ha nyilván volt ilyen, akkor bekerült a filmbe?
It's an interesting question too. William Faulkner's book, The Sound of the Fury, which of course is an American classic, he said that the very first image in his head, before he ever wrote the book, was the image of a little girl going up a tree, climbing a tree, and she'd fallen in the mud, and this little girl is climbing up with soiled panties, right? And that somehow led him to write this amazing book. Outside of the scene with Sharon that Paul shot, I had no other image in my head when I went into it. That was it. But honestly, sometimes I think some writers work with images, visual images, and that leads them on. You know, that isn't. I didn't have a visual image in this case. I had an image of this very burned out street cop who got, as Catherine says in the piece, who got too close to the flame, who got burned because he liked going so much to the edge, and combined with that, I had an image of a beautiful woman who had killed before, who liked killing, and these two people collide and come together. That's what I had in the beginning, but I didn't have a specific visual image.
Thank you. I got a question about the casting. Did you participate in the process of casting? And I saw a list of a huge list of actors who dropped back the role, who finally refused to play the role of Catherine Trammell and Nick. How many time did it took so the casting?
I didn't have anything to do with the casting, and in most cases I don't. The only casting suggestion that I had that everybody thought was very funny is the George Zunza character, Michael's partner, cop, the big guy Zunza. The notion, the person that I saw for that, as I was writing the script, was Willie Nelson, right? And certainly not that type that wound up on screen. Michael was cast very quickly after the script was sold. And that was Mario's decision, Carolco's decision, and Paul's, right? On the Catherine Trammell character, you know, I heard, and I don't know if I heard that Kelly McGillis wanted to do it, and she had a terrible screen test, and Mariel Hemingway wanted to do it, and she had a terrible screen test, and that Lena Olin was interested, and Paul went to interview her, talk to her, and after Paul came back, Lena Olin said, "That man is an animal, I'll never work with him." But I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like Paul. It sounds real to me. I don't know more of you. Do you, Andy?
Yeah, we had Michelle Pfeiffer that Paul wanted, but there were a lot of actresses that didn't want to take their clothes off, and that was a real issue. And Sharon Stone had just worked with Paul in Total Recall. She had a smaller role, but she did a good job in it, so Paul kind of remembered her, and she really wanted this job. So she really fought for it at the end, and I think, well, she was right, clearly, because she was brilliant in the movie. We had all thought that this was Michael Douglas's movie when we started it. He was the star of the film, and everybody else was really secondary. But as the film developed, clearly Sharon Stone was the star of this film, and everybody else was secondary. So we kind of didn't understand that until it got on the screen.
Sharon's very smart, and I think she saw that in the script. She saw that she could turn this into her movie, and as it was shot, I think that may have been one of the things that disturbed Michael too, because the line he said was, "She one-ups me at every turn," you know. So interesting dynamic.
And how many time the whole process took? So the casting, the process of casting, how many time did it take?
How much time did it take?
How much time, sir?
I think it took like 3 months.
Yeah.
About 3 months to finally cast it. Michael Douglas was done within a week. I mean, the first guy he really wanted to do it, and we wanted him to do it, so he was easy. But the go was a very difficult process.
To be fair to Michael, too, though, the casting choices are interesting there, because Sharon no doubt became the star, but Michael was sort of the rock that the movie was built on. you know, in every scene almost. You know, I mean, it's very much The Rock that held it together, and I thought his performance was superb.